Welcome to this explainer. Look, we're going to jump right into a topic that absolutely fascinates me, and that is the true biological reality of reversing aging. We're about to peel back the layers on how aging actually works on a cellular level. And here's the secret right up front. True youthfulness, it's not something you just paint on the surface. It is a highly active biological process happening deep within your body. It's almost entirely dictated by things like your gut health and your cells' ability to repair themselves, way more than just slathering your face with a bunch of expensive cosmetic products.
So let me ask you a question that I think pretty much all of us can relate to at some point. Have you ever wondered why, even if you're getting enough sleep and using those high-end, super costly skincare routines, you still wake up, look in the mirror, and see dull, sagging skin? It is incredibly frustrating, right? You feel like you're doing literally everything right, but the results just aren't there. Why does this happen? Well, the problem is that cosmetics only address the surface level. The actual root of a radiant complexion lies in a completely different place, completely hidden from plain sight.
So here is our roadmap for today. We'll quickly walk through 1. The nature of aging. 2. 4 core principles. 3. Skin-protecting foods. 4. Enemies of the skin. And finally 5. A rejuvenating lifestyle.
I want you to think of reversing aging not as some kind of chemistry experiment on your face, but as tending to an overarching ecosystem. This whole inside-out approach requires focusing on gut health, natural, nutrient-dense foods, limiting bad habits, and actually allowing for cellular repair. You just can't apply chemicals externally and expect your internal ecosystem to miraculously thrive, you know?
All right, Section 1, the nature of aging. Let's look at the biological realities here. What is actually going on silently inside our bodies? See, we so often think of aging merely as adding another year to our chronological age, but biologically speaking, it is the slow accumulation of unseen damage. There's this great old saying, good soil makes green plants. I want you to imagine your body as a garden. Your endogenous health, meaning the health that originates from within you, that's the soil. If that soil is barren, it honestly doesn't matter how many expensive chemicals you spray on top, the plant is going to struggle.
So in our garden, the first invisible saboteur is chronic inflammation. Think of this as a smoldering, tiny internal fire. It very often starts from an unstable gut microbiome, and it just burns quietly and continuously. It doesn't give you a high fever, it doesn't give you sharp, obvious pain. Instead, it acts as this constant, exhausting drain on your energy, actively attacking your cells and literally breaking down your precious collagen structures from the inside out.
And then we have glycation. Now, this is a crucial scientific concept everyone needs to understand. When we consume excess sugar, those surplus sugar molecules don't just magically disappear. They travel right through our system and physically bind themselves to proteins. They essentially handcuff your collagen. So what was once supple, elastic, smooth collagen fiber suddenly becomes dry, rigid, and brittle. The inevitable result of that, your skin loses its structural support, it sags, and those deep wrinkles begin to show up.
Moving on to Section 2, 4 core principles. These are your absolute foundations for youth. Okay, now that we've identified the invisible damage, we can pivot to the actual solution. And before you go hunting for some complicated anti-aging diet or a super restrictive weight loss regimen, you must strictly adhere to these 4 golden rules. First, we must actively reduce inflammation. Second, we have to nourish the gut microbiome. Third, we need to protect our existing collagen and help the body synthesize more. And fourth, and this one is wildly important, we have to give our cells the time they need to rest. These 4 principles, they should dictate pretty much every choice we make moving forward.
Section 3, skin-protecting foods. Basically the exact fertilizer for your cells.
So how do we actually apply these principles in real life? Let's talk about the exact fertilizer needed for our cellular garden. I'm going to rapid fire through this phenomenal list. Keep in mind, these aren't just for taste. This is highly targeted nutrition. Under healing drinks, we've got green tea, which is packed with ECGC to crush free radicals. Bone broth provides glutamine and proline to heal your gut barrier and rebuild skin. Kefir pumps in massive amounts of probiotics. Turmeric gives you curcumin, which is literally the ultimate anti-inflammatory. And pineapple water offers really deep cellular hydration. Now, on the raw material food side, fatty salmon gives you omega-3s to fight that inflammation we talked about, egg whites provide proline to weave new tissues, citrus and berries act as catalysts. They're rich in vitamin C, which basically forces your body to make collagen. Nuts bring zinc and vitamin E, and avocados provide oleic acid to keep everything nice and firm. These are your ultimate raw materials.
Now, I have to debunk a classic myth right here, because a lot of people think downing a handful of expensive pre-made collagen pills is the magic ticket to youth. But the physiological truth is quite different. To build a complete, sustainable collagen structure, your body desperately prefers natural raw materials. Things like vitamin C, omega-3s, and zinc, delivered through real whole foods. When your body synthesizes its own collagen from within using these natural building blocks, the results are just far more sustainable and way more effective than consuming processed external supplements.
All right, Section 4, Enemies of the Skin, the habits we absolutely need to avoid.
Because honestly, planting good seeds means absolutely nothing if we just let the weeds take over, right? These are the ultimate saboteurs of your collagen. Charred grilled meats. I know they taste incredible, but they release a massive amount of free radicals that just tear through your tissues. Refined sugar, as we learned earlier, is the direct trigger for glycation. Alcohol forces your liver into overdrive and actively dehydrates your cells. Fast food literally narrows your blood vessels, restricting all that good nutrient flow. And finally, the ultimate destructive combo. Chronic stress and pulling late nights. Doing that completely shuts down your body's natural self-repair mechanisms.
And wow, this brings us to a huge misconception. You might actually be thinking, wait, really? Right now? Because so many people think grazing on so-called clean or healthy snacks all day long is good for them. Actually, scratch that. It is completely false. When you constantly snack from morning until night, your insulin levels are kept artificially high all day. This constant digestive state completely deprives your cells of the downtime they desperately need to rest, clean up, and repair themselves. Eating full, balanced meals and then stopping completely is vastly superior.
Which leads us nicely into Section 5, Rejuvenating Lifestyle, Your Natural Biological Rhythms.
So how do we put this whole shebang together? It is not about a harsh, punishing diet. It's about establishing a natural biological rhythm. Let me walk you through an ideal, rejuvenating day. In the morning, you wake up your cells gently with warm water and deep breathing. Midday, you fuel up with those nutrient-dense, balanced meals we just discussed. And here is the absolute key. At around 7 p.m., you establish a strict eating curfew. You lock it down. Our bodies simply are not designed to digest food 24/7. By stopping digestion, your insulin drops. This signals your body to finally take out the trash, clear out the damaged cells, and conduct deep maintenance and repair while you sleep. Without this closed window, true rejuvenation remains just a theory.
To wrap up this explainer, I really want you to internalize this profound thought. Aging is not the enemy. It is simply a mirror reflecting how we treat our bodies every day. True radiance and youthfulness are not things you can force onto the surface of your skin. They are the inevitable, natural byproducts of a clean, deeply nourished, and well-rested internal ecosystem.
So, I leave you with this final provocative thought. If your body is truly an ecosystem, what kind of soil will you plant in your very next meal? The answer to reversing aging isn't found in a magic bottle. It's found in those tiny, everyday decisions you make from here on out. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you next time as we continue to break down the fascinating science of how our bodies work.